Welcome to the Daisy Show. My name is Andrew. This is my wife, Beck.
Hello.
Let's get into it.
Great. Okay, so for today, I'm going to firstly start off by sending you some reels which we can discuss.
Okay.
So let me just get onto, I'm going to my Becky Lou Fit Daisy account. So I'm going to send it on Instagram. So just hold your horses. Send. Okay, this is the first one. So can you...
Just looking at somebody's notifications. Feel period come soon because I am in that. I'm like, Jesus. Does that need to be on?
Why would people put that on their bubbles? We don't want to know about your period.
Didn't need to know, but thanks for the update. YMH Studios, excellent.
So it's your mum's house.
Have you ever been seated at a restaurant and found that you couldn't fit comfortably in the seat or booth? Hey everyone, we're plus-size card hoppers, and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. We're starting a new dining series called If I Fit, I Sit. In this series, we'll go to different restaurants on Disney property and beyond.
I don't know why these people don't do.
Oh, cool.
Just feel immense shame about the way you look and feel.
We know how it feels to walk into a restaurant and only see chairs with arms on them.
You know what you do at that point? You turn around and you leave the restaurant.
Go to the gym.
Yeah, it's not for you. It's not for you.
You go to a barn and eat with like-sized people.
By the
Don't
way-
you hate when you see arms on a chair? What the fuck is wrong with you? Who the fuck is thinking that? There's arms here? I guess this isn't for me. Jesus Christ. Sit on the floor. That's what they should do. If you walk into a restaurant and you don't fit in the chair, you eat on the floor.
Have you ever...
Yeah, America has reached a point of absolute absurdity.
Your mum's house is so funny. I need to watch some more of that.
They are
That's
great.
hilarious.
Well, go back like 5, 6, 7 years.
And
The good stuff's way back then.
I mean, they're saying out loud what everyone is terrified to say because you offend so many people by saying that. Not so many, but I guess you offend people, and then people think you're a bad person by saying the truth.
Yeah, but the truth is making a comeback now. Like 2020 to 2024, you weren't allowed to say the truth about anything because then you're immediately
hurt
a misogynist, a
people's
racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, a whatever. But now that woke shit is kind of receding.
I love it how his wife is like, oh, cool. Oh, cool.
Pretty cool.
What's her name?
I can't remember.
She's
Christina.
funny too.
Christina's her name.
Anyway, so that's a great point.
That's a great point. Arms and
then
chairs
next,
should not...
I've got 4 reels today, so it's going to be fun.
All right, well, let's get through it.
Sending to Coach
This
Deezy.
guy's funny too.
My doctor told me that a great way to cure my depression is to raise my heart rate or get some cardio. So now, whenever I hear anyone talk about sports, I just run away.
That's a crazy build on this woman, right? That is an unbelievable build. How do you look like this? What happened? What happened? Why did the weight pack on that way? That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate build. I'm sorry to tell you.
My doctor...
Also, the premise and punchline was just garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't funny at all.
It wasn't funny at all.
She's meant to be a comedian.
It's dreadful.
So she's this lady. She looks like, I guess she's
the penguin
got like,
on stilts.
Yeah, she's got like toothpick legs, but then she's like a big, giant, round ball the rest of her body.
So to answer his
So
question...
she's made up of like complete fat.
Yeah,
And
to answer his question seriously, there's different people's genetics will have a different propensity to store body fat in different areas. And so
course.
you look at different racial groups, you can see that all the time. So Australian Aborigines and Indians being 2 groups that immediately come to mind where when they get obese, they still have skinny limbs and they just get fat in the middle.
Oh.
And so so I wouldn't be surprised. She's I didn't pay that much attention, but she might have some Indian genetics in there. And that's a very common distribution for excess body fat for that racial group.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that reel that concerns me is, the doctor's like, and it's a doctor actually saying, hey, go do some exercise. That'll help your depression, instead of being like, hey, take some drugs.
Yeah.
Take drugs. That's a real answer, and of course you're going to feel better after doing any sort of exercise. You're going to feel better. And she's
true.
like, no, I need to run away from that. It's just like exercise is a joke to people, which is more shocking to me. Like,
But
why?
heaps of fat American comedians have made fun of themselves very well. That particular joke just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Dillon is great.
Okay, my next one is... All right.
When you're morbidly obese, there's things out in public that you just don't get to do.
Sorry, I just have to pause. I love this set where there's a pink Claymore mine that says
Live,
live, laugh, love.
We need one of those.
I can tell.
I want that.
I can tell I like these guys already.
Oh my
I don't know.
God.
I've never seen them before, but that's
No,
brilliant.
I just stumbled across them.
You made a decision to be a fat piece of shit, and now you have to live with the consequence. I was on a flight from San Francisco to San Antonio, I think, and there was this old lady, wasn't super fat, but she was fat enough, right? And she kept pouring over onto my side. What race? White. Oh, really?
Oh, really? Yeah, and just to interrupt again, that is an entirely different frame of mind. You have made a choice to live this way and have this body and accept the consequences. And that's, when people do the Blitz, week one, like day one, is you have to take responsibility for all of your life choices up
Yeah.
until this point, because the reason you are in the body you're in now is because of all the choices that you've made in the past. And that is shocking to people, because we've got this culture of not taking personal responsibility, of thinking if anything bad happens to anyone, it's because of socioeconomic factors or victimhood or systemic insert bullshit here. Anything other than I made choices and they ended up like this. So that's the first biggest step that people need to make, which is much easier to make. Like if you're taking credit for good stuff, really comfortable, really easy to go, yep, that was all me. But when everything's shit, it's really, really hard to go, yep, that was all me.
The armrest. She goes, I don't fit if the armrest is down. I'm like, well, then you should lose weight. I said it to her, right?
Yeah.
I care. I don't care.
I can vouch for this, by the way. He has said this before.
Yeah, and then the stewardess.
Stu.
This guy cunt.
Yeah.
They have so many names. That's a new one to me.
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm like, this woman keeps trying to do this shit. Now I paid for my seat. I didn't pay 3/4 price, right? I paid full price, which means I'm gonna get my full seat, and this fat retard is gonna stay out of my space.
What did she do? Suck it in for the rest of the flight?
Oh, Ken, why are you being so rude? I'm like, I'm not being rude. You are invading my personal space because you have a lack of self-control. That's what's happening. When you're morbidly obese, there's things out in public.
And again, that's the definition between equity, or the difference between equity and equality. So equality is two people each pay for a seat, so they deserve a seat.
Yeah.
But then we've got this equity bullshit where it's like, but I need half of your seat, so I deserve it. Fuck off. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I remember when I was in my 20s, I was coming back from Singapore.
Can you even remember your 20s? It's a long time ago.
Not as long ago as your 20s were. Anywho, so...
But women age differently. They age in like dog years.
Okay, so I was coming back from Singapore and I was traveling on my own. So, and then I was sitting next to this super fat guy and going back to Australia. And yeah, he was super fat. But you could tell that he was like feeling really embarrassed about it, like shame. And so, but he didn't ask to like put up the armrest. But he was, you know how sometimes they put those control things with all the buttons along the side, down the bottom along the side, so you have to reach down, get it, and you can press your buttons to watch your TV. He was so fat that his fat kept pressing the button, so he kept pressing the call button with his fat, and then the stewardess lady kept coming along being like, yeah, what do you want? He's like, nothing. And then she's like, okay, you press the call button. Like, yeah,
God,
that's the
it's
thing.
so humiliating.
Yeah, I would feel really embarrassed.
It's like it'd be hard to imagine living like that because it's just little micro embarrassments like that all the time. And every time you leave the house, there's something. Like that's got to be absolutely brutal on your psyche. And yet the pain of that still isn't perceived as worse than the pain of hitting your macros and training. Because if it was, like for you and me, and for a lot of people, it obviously is. You know, I've done my meal plan today, got my steps in, did my training. It all hurt. It all sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't eat the food I wanted to eat, but would I do that over being this guy who's basically, he has a disability. He's given himself a disability effectively. He can't function normally in life. Like, there's no question. I would rather, all right, I'll do my steps with my sore ankle and do my training with some sore joints and I'll be a bit hungry and I won't eat the hamburger that I want.
Like it's so hard to be uncomfortable to wake up earlier to go to the gym. It's just easier to stay fat. It's so weird to
easier
me.
to live like that.
Blows my mind. But also like that guy, the reel we just watched, he's like one of the very, very few people who would say, yeah, we'll lose weight.
Yeah.
To the lady, he's like, no, I need the armrest up. He's like, no, I don't need it up. Because that's the barrier, one person and the other person. Like, that's so, like, you're only going to put the armrest up if it's like you and you're sitting next to your husband and you've got a baby or something. You need space. People don't just put the armrest up with strangers.
Yeah, because we have this thing called personal space.
But if you're fat, it's like, I must have it up. It's like, no.
Yeah, you crammed into hundreds of people crammed into an aluminium tube, and we're trying to like create the illusion of personal space by having that little divider, like the divider in your groceries on the conveyor belt at the supermarket. It's just this one little nod towards human dignity is that armrest. Yeah, you're not going to get rid of that.
No. So then, what's my last one?
Recently unemployed wife to a family of 9 using EBT. Despite my best efforts to keep a budget, I absolutely failed. I went over by more than $100 at Sam's, and I'm sure I'll pay for that later in the month. But I didn't really have a choice in my defense because these kids depleted every single thing we had in the fridge, pantry, and freezer. My daughter decided that she wanted to play that little game where you go up and down the aisle and you point to something and when the person says stop, whatever you land on is what you buy. She cheated. She wanted hot chip.
That's a game, apparently. I've never played
My parents would never allow something like that.
We need to play this for
I wasn't
my
even
mum.
allowed fucking cordial.
Of course not.
So she changed it at the very last second. But whatever, I let her get what she wanted. And last but certainly
But whatever, I let her get whatever she wants.
And the child is obese.
So
is she.
So
I mean,
even
she's obese, and then the child is fat.
No, the child's obese. So even the rules of the game don't
apply.
Don't apply.
You don't have any rules.
A totally arbitrary. Exactly. There are no rules. Just do whatever the hell you want.
Just do whatever you
That
want.
is the ethos. I spoke about this in the podcast months ago. The West has gone into libertinism, and it is the destruction of everything.
thank you to Sam's Club for giving us this pizza and this ice cream for free.
Okay, why is this 500-pound person telling me about her food insecurity and how she can't afford to eat or feed the 9 kids that she chose to have? This is what people get so sick and tired of seeing. If there were ever an argument for why taxpayers shouldn't be paying for...
And remember, taxpayers are men. Just to put that out there for all the people who don't know. Like, as a group, because, you know, women started this war against half of bloody society. It's men are net taxpayers and women are net tax consumers.
Yeah.
In America, it's something like $250,000 over a lifetime. So each woman is a $250,000 expense line item that has to be paid for by men. So there are hardworking men who are out there doing real jobs to pay for this woman and her 9 kids. In Norway, it's $1 million. So most of the Western world would probably be somewhere between the more capitalistic USA and more socialistic welfare state Norway. And the entitlement is just incredible. So no doubt she's a strong and independent woman who is
lost her job and
who doesn't work
someone else is paying for
the
it.
man who's responsible for these 9 kids, or the men who are responsible for these 9 kids, aren't paying for it. It's other hardworking men
Yeah.
who are paying for this. Excess and horror. Cool. This is a fun one, Beck. I'm having fun already.
Diets, this is it. And don't come at me with, oh, it could be hormones because I pay for your Medicaid too, so go get your thyroid checked. But don't film yourself stuffing your Sam's Club cart full of ice cream and muffins and Doritos and cramming pizza in your pie hole, and then tell me that you're incapable of working and I need to foot the bill for it or else you'll starve to death.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really
That's
know
dark.
a lot about the system in the US, but I'm guessing it's like food stamps is what they're giving them.
Yeah,
Which
EBT is the correct name for food stamps.
Right, so they can go get food, which is different to Australia where they just give you Centrelink and they just give you money so you can just go buy drugs and alcohol.
There's also the TAB. There's a lot of gambling.
And the TAB. Yeah, so you can do all these things because in Australia they just give you money. So actually, it would be better if they gave people food stamps in Australia, so the money would be spent on actual food. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But
It's a whole other thing.
so the theme of today is
I'm guessing it's obesity. 'Cause everyone
obesity
is
is the theme, but
Sure.
that whole idea of a lack of personal responsibility is one of
Right.
the main things that seems to run through all of those reels that we just watched.
big time.
Is they're all like, oh well, no my problem. You have chairs with arms, so I can't sit here, so I'm going to go to somewhere else. And it's like a whole series of videos about what restaurants to go to.
Tim Dillon did a rant about that. What are they?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Hoppers or plus
Oh,
size
I want to
park
watch
hoppers?
that now.
Yeah, you do.
I'll have to find it. Yeah, so the theme of what I wanted us to chat about is
Obesity and culture.
yes.
Okay.
And who is fatter?
Oh, it's a competition.
Yeah, who's fatter, Americans or Australians? And since the majority of our clients are either or, Americans or Australians, yeah, we can discuss that.
Well, it's not much of a discussion. The stats, isn't there?
Yeah,
so just
the
tell us
stats
who the winner
are-
is.
Yeah, so the winner is in the United States, the adult obesity rate is 42%.
42%.
That's a lot. And the thing is, why we can also comment on this is because we have been to the US. I mean, it was 2017 when we went, and for a bodybuilding show. And we went to Vegas, and then people are like just a different species of human. And they're like in those, what are those remote control chair thingies?
The
And they're
mobility
just like
scooters.
rolling around.
Mobility scooters, I
They're
think
just
they're
all
called.
rolling around the casino.
or in walking frames.
Yeah.
Not old people.
No,
like
just
young people.
Just
in-
people
Yeah.
who are super fat.
Who can't
And it's like
walk.
so normal.
Yep.
And then also when we would go to eat, like at the diners and stuff, you order one meal, but you get 2 giant plates of
Yep.
food. And that was like really shocking because also I had just been doing comp prep. So the volume of food was like so much.
Yep.
Yeah, but to them it's so normal now. It's so normal to be overweight that you don't notice it. And that's so crazy to me.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Is again, something that I talk about all the time is the normalcy bias. So when you are surrounded by obesity, which obviously large tracts of the USA are, it then becomes normal, and you don't see it anymore. Like whatever, it's literally the way our eyes and brains work. Is that we are screening out the vast majority of information that comes into our senses, and the only things that we really notice is something that shouldn't be there. And so once obese bodies should be there because they're normal and you see them all the time, you would only notice somebody who's a regular size. That is now the aberration and the weird thing. And then when we have these American clients who are in these environments, it's very, very difficult for them.
Yeah, it must be.
Well, it's an additional layer of difficulty, let's put it that way. And then when they do start to get in shape, all these other normal obese people start saying, oh, don't get too skinny. You know, it's not good for your health and all this sort of wild shit starts coming up. So no one will correct your behavior when you're drinking 2 liters of soda and your nachos on the couch. No one is worried about your health then, but it's when you get just close to a healthy BMI, that's when they go, you might be sick, things aren't okay, or you have an eating disorder. It's like crazy. But yeah, we went to basically 3 cities in the USA.
Yeah, where did we go again?
And the USA is like 50 different countries. It is the United States. And they are 50 different cultures, which is amazing. We only saw 3 cities within 3 of those states, but within all 3 were wildly different. So California was kind of normal for us. California, very much like Australia, just with way more homeless and drug addicts. Mm-hmm. And again, that was in 2017 before Gavin Newsom ruined it and made it worse. So it's kind of terrifying to think what it's like now. But it was kind of normal. Then
we went to Gold's Gym and Rose Cafe.
We were in Venice Beach, California, because where else would you go, obviously? And then we went to Vegas, and that was absolutely shocking because I think that was like a concentration. It's just a certain demographic of Americans. It looks like the Family Guy cartoon.
Yeah, they go there for a holiday.
A minivan pulls up from the airport. People get out onto their mobility scooters and walking frames, shuffle into a casino, which isn't a casino. It's a casino and a hotel and a resort and everything in one. And then they don't see the sun for a week, and they just eat 1 million calories, go bowling at a casino, drink beer, and then they get back in the minivan and go back to Nebraska or wherever they're from. So it's like a selection. It's like a selection bias of that kind of. We would call them bogans in Australia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not necessarily rednecks, but whatever, in America. So it was just wall to wall that. And it was just amazing. And then from there, we went to New York, and suddenly, boom, everyone's got a normal BMI, and everyone is walking everywhere, and they're walking at about 20 miles an hour. We went from this shuffling.
Hyper-vigilant, alert people. Whereas, the other people like shuffling like
glassy-eyed, shuffling, difficulty walking, barely moving, to then go to New York, and everyone's walking 20 miles an hour, bolt upright, eyes clear and alert. Like you said, completely different species. It was so different. The cultural norms within what is notionally the same country, just so wildly different.
It is the same country.
And Australians don't. If Australians haven't travelled, you don't get it, because if you are in Sydney and then you go 5,000 kilometres to the left and you land in Perth, you're in the same place. Mm-hmm. Australians are all pretty much the same, which is quite amazing. Everyone's got the same accent. You claim they don't. They do. They all sound the same. They all have the same lifestyle, pretty much. The only thing that changes is this kind of football or that kind of football. Mm-hmm. Everything else is exactly the same. But then you have a look at England, and that town is 15 miles away, which is why I've never been there, because it's so far away, and they have a different accent.
Yeah.
And then America's 50 different states with 50 different cultures. Very interesting. But anyway, more to the point.
We did also go to Glendale in California, and that was also interesting. There's a lot of Popeye's chicken, Best Westerns, and they give you that free breakfast thing.
Domestic arguments over breakfast.
It was weird.
That was a little traumatic.
Weird.
Not us, other people.
No, it was a weird place.
Yeah, it was a weird place. It is a weird place.
A lot of fast food.
With 24-hour Kmart's or Targets with Pizza Huts in the Target. So you can go and buy a tracksuit at 2 a.m. and a pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for that other bodybuilding show. Yeah. Anywho, so continue what we're saying.
I was talking about the cultural context and the normalcy bias that creates for the individual. So the individual is still always responsible for their own actions. But because we are communal animals, if you're surrounded by that, it is a handicap. You are mentally starting from a completely different place.
And also, like with that 4th reel I showed you, that kid is already fat. So it's sort of like it's normal to grow up being that size. So that would just be like so hard to understand that you're not meant to look like that. That's not healthy.
And there's another psychological layer, because one is the normalcy bias of the cultural context. Everybody's obese. But also, I personally have always been obese. This is my body. I identify with my roles of body fat. Yeah. So again, in my coaching, I try and tell people, no, you need to stop identifying with your body fat, because it is just a sign of your energy surplus to this point. There's no such thing as a fat kind of person any more than there is such a thing as a hydrated kind of person. If you drink a lot of water, you are
Yeah.
well hydrated. And then a few hours later, you pee it all out and now you're dehydrated again. It's exactly the same with excess calories, just on a much longer time frame. You are you have your body. And then if you cram too many calories into it, those calories will be stored on it. And they are only stored as long as you don't get rid of them. And then they can go away again. So it really is just the same as water in, water out, calories in, calories out. But one is measured in a few hours, and the other one, if you spent your life like that, it's going to be a 2-3 year job to get rid of all of those excess calories that are stored in your body.
Yes.
But ultimately, it is just as transitory, temporary, and not really a part of you, if you choose to think of it that way, as is hydration. But yeah, if you grow up as a kid, I'm fat and all the other kids are fat. And it's like there's 2 layers of psychology there pushing against the desire to change.
Yeah. Australia is the...
Oh, yeah, we didn't see what Australia's stats are.
The obesity rates in Australia is 30%, whereas America is 42%. So it's not far behind. And, yeah, so when I think about everyone I went to school with, and then occasionally I sort of see people on Facebook and Instagram and that. And they're just... And I went to an all-girls school. That was expensive. And so you
didn't pay for it.
No. Dad did.
There's a hard-working man who paid for it.
Yeah. And so... No, so you would think all of those people are well-educated women who had a really good education growing up. And
I see where you're going with this.
They all went to university. Like all
Socioeconomic
If you didn't go
factors.
to university from that school, no, that's impossible. We were forced to go to university. We had to. We had to apply, and go through all of that. So we all went to university. But then everyone is basically fat now. Like most of them, because I was telling you how my sister said to me, hey, it's your 20-year reunion, are you going to go? And I was like, that is the biggest waste of time I could ever think of. Like, why would I do that with my time? And she's like, okay, I guess that's a no. And then I looked at the the group page to see all the people.
All right.
And I know some people still look the same, the same as they did pretty much in school. But then other people who were small females are now just fat. And I'm just like, I don't understand, because we went to a good school. We did have PE and health education, physical education classes. We did lots of we did loads of stuff where you would understand that if you overeat, you're going to get fat. But it's sort of, I believe it's just because of living in Australia, it's more normal to overeat, overdrink.
Oh, yes.
Drinking is a big fun thing in Australia. You've got to do that on your weekends, especially if you're a mother and you have a bunch of kids. It's like you're, woohoo, let loose. Go to a, what's the kind of drink things that they do?
They go to wineries on the weekend.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Your cohort would anyway.
Yeah, all of that sort of fancy...
or go to the horse racing and get elegantly wasted.
Yeah, fancy wine and things like that. That's how they let loose. So overconsumption of food and alcohol is normal in Australia, and so therefore you don't realise the weight slowly going on, and then you're fat.
Yeah, I think that's a different phenomenon to what we were just looking at with these extreme examples from America. And it's as simple as you party hard, because also in Australia, Christmas is from December 1 to about January 15.
Which is great.
Or maybe January 26,
so
because
much
that's
fun.
Australia Day. So
Oh yeah, Australia Day. Yeah, it all merges into one big thing.
I might as well not bother going to work, hey?
And then
There's only 3 weeks of work
in
there, so I'll
Australia
just take
Day,
it off.
everyone binge drinks.
Yes.
Excessively.
So it's Christmas parties and early knock-off on Fridays, from early December, and the real working year doesn't start until about February. I used to have an English boss, a project manager, a project director, who just would lament the lazy Australians, and they have to just destroy 1/6 of the year with partying. But anyway, and so in that time period, you put on 2 kilos of body fat, and then you don't get it off, and then you do that 20 times, and now you're 40 kilos overweight.
yeah, you do that for 20 years over, And so the weight is going to slowly continue to go up and up and up.
So you graduated high school at 55 kilos and 20 years later you're 95 kilos, and every
It's
2 or 3
normal.
years you had to sort of go up in a clothing size. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not a shock to the system, and it's this stealth fat gain that goes on, for sure. I think that describes a lot of what's going on in Australia.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see
And,
the youth obesity rates.
Oh, yes.
To see, because we're dating ourselves like that. That appears to be a reasonable pattern, a reasonable explanation, guess at what people our age and older did with their lives in Australia. But I wonder if the next generation is more American, because there was only like one fat kid in school, when we were kids. And now, is it still the same? Is it one fat kid in school, or 30% of the kids fat, which means they're going to start that 2 kilos a year weight gain starting from a point of obesity? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is the future looking even worse?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. Great.
Definitely with the way things have gone in Australia, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be going in the wrong direction. And yeah, the once again, can we pack in this socioeconomic factors argument? Like for when any bad outcome happens, it's because of being disadvantaged. Like food deserts are the reason that Americans are obese, apparently. Socioeconomic factors, education. We've got the best education and upper middle class white chicks in Australia, and they all get fat. Like, no, it's not a socioeconomic factors thing. It's a personal choices thing. There's only one person who can fix it. There's only one person who can make it happen. There's only one person who can fix it. Socioeconomic factors are not to blame, and they are not overpowering individual choice. Individual choice is still the vast majority of the reason why people end up where they end up.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's shift to talking about Japan,
Okay.
because it's so vastly different.
Sure is.
And also another place that we have been. So again, we can comment on it. So in
We're clearly
Japan,
experts in Japan as well as experts in
well, we
everything else.
have been there twice. Yeah. What?
I've been there 3 times.
Oh, you've been there 3 times.
I have. Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the obesity rates in Japan is 4%,
Right.
and in America it's 40%.
Yeah. Crazy. But the thing is, the obesity rate in Japan, like 10 years ago, was probably 1%.
Yeah.
Like the trend is probably the same.
Yeah. I think in Japan it is sort of a homogenous society. A lot like they mostly all look the same and dress the same and do the same things.
Powerful cultural norms.
And they do want to all fit in and look the same.
Yeah,
you
you
don't want
better
to
fit
be a social outcast.
Oh,
and
no,
you
no,
don't want to disappoint your family either. That whole like family, what's it called?
Reputation?
Yeah,
Okay.
that. You don't want to disappoint your family.
Bring shame and dishonor.
Yeah, whereas in America, it's more like be an individual. Do what you want. Don't fit in. You can be cool and dye your hair blue and, whatever.
Well, it's just if you're not hurting anyone, then you can do whatever the hell you want, taken to the absurd logical conclusion. Which is why you've got, 50,000 fentanyl overdoses and 40% of people dying of obesity and stuff. They're all people doing what they want without hurting anybody else. That's what happens.
Yeah. So let's also talk about the cultural attitudes towards food in Japan that is probably very different to Australia and America.
Wildly different.
Yeah.
So, I
Go
think
ahead.
it's also interesting to compare Japan to other Asian cultures. Like,
we live in Indonesia.
like Indonesia, like China, like Korea. So Japan stands out because of its cuisine. The aforementioned countries, having spent a lot of time in serious poverty, developed cuisines that pack a lot of calories. So when you don't have a lot of money and you need enough calories to survive, it's like so far the opposite problem that this 500-pound woman with her 9 kids is having, then you want to just eat deep fried garbage because that is going to have the most amount of calories per dollar or rupiah here. And so then when these countries go from being impoverished to being developing countries as they are now, or Korea, developed, then you've got this cultural attitude of you've got to cram those calories in when you get the chance. And now you've got these mukbang videos, and you've got the obesity graphs of China and Indonesia. I checked it out I was writing an email on this topic a while ago. If you're not on the email list, what are you even doing with your life? But they match. They're exactly the same. They're about 10 years apart because China is ahead in terms of economic development and sort of standard of living compared to Indonesia. But when there's money, it's a multiplying factor for this I've got to cram calories in culture. And so now they can afford more calories, and everything they eat is high calorie density fried stuff. Yeah. So like the Indonesians are starting to get obese. The Chinese are way more obese than the Japanese. And that's something I noticed the first time I was in Japan, because everyone is just perfect. Just perfect posture, perfect body fat, perfect clothing, perfect manners, everything's perfect. And then you see a fat Asian, you're like, whoa, what? Oh, Chinese. Like they stand out straight away.
Whoa, what?
I'm like, what's wrong with that? Oh, Chinese. Yeah.
And also with the rich Indonesians or Balinese, to have like a fat pot belly is like a good thing, because that's why those men will like show them off. Like it sounds weird, but remember, like where we live, there are villages where people just like their whole day is working in the rice fields and they don't have that much money. So
not long ago, this is like 10 years ago.
And then suddenly grandpa sells his land and he's super rich, and then he can eat satay babi all day long, and then they really do stand around with their bellies out.
Yeah. So if you don't understand what Beck's saying, there'll be just some dude, middle-aged or older, standing by the side of the road, and like he's on display. And he gets his shirt and he pulls it up to his tits with his gut hanging out, and he's just standing there proud. I scoot past and I always say, if you got it, flaunt it, because that's literally what's going on. So again, this is a culture of poverty. And so you see this in Africa as well, where if you can get that fat, it means you have the power and influence to attract a lot of excess resources, which is a huge status symbol compared to everybody else who is spending every calorie they eat to find more calories to eat. Yeah. So, yeah, that's happening. Yeah. You see that here in Bali. We're supposed to be talking about Japan, but
we'll go back to it.
You do see that in Bali. But the other thing you see in Indonesia as well is now a burgeoning middle class. And so there's this old culture of fat and proud, because it is something to be proud of. When people are on the brink of starvation, it's pretty proud. It's something to be proud of if you can, get that much resources. Yeah. And now there's this more of a middle class culture where you see these middle-aged dudes, and oh god, they're covered in lycra and they got their racing bicycles. Oh, yeah. And they're just doing that stuff. So gyms are blowing up. People are getting their paddle courts going, and just all of these,
and the Zumba and all that.
Zumba classes, that's
really popular.
All the middle class type stuff that you're so familiar with in the West, that's starting to grow now, because people have, rather than doing the whole I'm fat and proud thing, it's maybe there's a better way. Yeah. And they're starting to sort of put their resources towards that and then redefine what they're proud of and stuff. Which, circling back to Japan never seemed to have that. Yeah. There was no fat samurai. Yeah. There's no fat karate masters.
It's only the
there's no fat
what are those
emperors.
Really fat dudes?
The sumo dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're the super fat people, but that's like the only ones who are allowed to be fat.
Yeah. In no other area is it acceptable, normal, celebrated. There's no fat kings or emperors, no fat warriors. There's a big warrior culture. Yeah. And all of that. So, and their food was never that calorie dense. So even when they were poor and then became rich, they had a whole ritualistic culture around food, slow eating, meticulous presentation of things, standardized plates, like the bento box. There's like
Yeah.
the traditional size and
Exactly.
shape of the bento box.
Even when we had breakfast one time at the one place we were staying in Tokyo, and they give you a tray, which is just standardized. Like you got this for your egg bit, this for your rice bit, this for your veggies, this for your fruit. That's it.
So there's like an architectural limitation. So both the food type itself, nothing is fried, almost nothing is fried, and secondly, there's a like English table manners type thing, like the spoons and the forks, the same thing, the etiquette with your chopsticks and your bowl of this, and this is the correct cutlery and crockery, but it's might be made of bamboo, it might be made of china, whatever. But they have these cultural norms, and so your food has to literally fit into a box, not a metaphorical box, but literally into the box. That is normal. That's what humans eat. That's what we've always eaten. That's how we eat.
Yeah.
And we are hyper-conformist, and so this is the way it is. And there's no Japanese cuisine that is incredibly calorie dense and fatty, so that you can't game the system by turning that bento box into a Las Vegas diner breakfast.
Yeah. It's mainly rice, some protein, like seafood, and then vegetables and fermented foods.
Squid for breakfast.
Yeah.
Japan.
And they don't have like really any good desserts.
Japan, squid for breakfast. You definitely deserve to lose
they
World
have
War
their
II just for that.
seafood. Anyway, so that's why. So the portion control, social eating habits. So they eat as a family. They all sit down to enjoy the meal, and that's important. Eating at the same time. Respect for seasonality and freshness, which America doesn't even know that's a thing. 'Cause they can have anything any time of day from wherever they want it.
Because capitalism is awesome. Yes.
And then having a balanced diet, which the Japs are really good at.
Yep. Yeah, so they've got all of these cultural norms working in their favor. And then, of course, on top of that, to juxtapose Indonesia with Japan again, I was just talking to the Indonesian kid here, and I said, did you know that Indonesians take fewer steps? They walk less than any other culture on Earth. And he went, I believe it. I'm one of them. And he was talking about how he will get on his scooter and ride 10 meters to the mini mart.
Yeah.
Hating himself as he does it, like, God, I'm lazy.
But it's so normal.
But it's so normal because you get on a scooter and go from your front door, and then you park in the way of everyone at the front door of wherever it is you're going. And you don't take any extra steps ever. Whereas Japan couldn't be more different. Everyone's like New York City, power walking for
around,
subways,
get the train,
a lot of bicycles, hell of a lot of bicycles.
Yeah, like we saw in Kobe, where there would be
Yes.
those mothers going to the childcare to pick up their kids, and they have those double bicycle things with the baby chair thing. And then it was raining, so then they also have the plastic cover that covers both of them.
So, yeah.
And it's like, all good, I'm riding home now.
Again.
And I was like, wow.
No one's going to understand what you mean. Japan's living in like 3025, not 2025. They have a roof on a bicycle. So a whole plastic roof so that mum doesn't get rained on, and then either a basket type situation like ET phone home or a trailer behind the bicycle also covered. So it's 100% rainproof. So just because it's raining doesn't mean you're not going to cycle several kilometers to go and get your kid from daycare and then cycle home again. And she probably did that twice because she probably dropped the kid off using the bicycle for a few kilometers, then came home, then got the train or whatever, or parked the bike at the train station.
Yeah.
And then did it at the end of the day. So it's just kilometers of cycling every day is just normal life for that mum. Whereas Australian mums, American mums are like, well, you know, of course I don't have the body I used to have. I've got 3 kids. How old's the youngest? 18. Oh, okay. It's your 18-year-old son's fault that you haven't been to the gym for the last 10 years.
Australia doesn't really have walkable cities, I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's obviously way more walkable than Indonesia in that they have footpaths and parks and places to go where you can walk around. But when I saw that, like the Japanese lady riding the bike, I was like, oh my God, she's going to get hit by a car. But that's because in Australia, it's really dangerous to ride a bike. Because cars hate you if you're riding a bike, from my experience anyway in Brisbane, they hate you. So like, and then also with motorbike riders too, like they don't see you. So how do they see people riding bikes? It is quite dangerous. Whereas in Japan, the cities are made for that.
Yeah.
So people are aware that there's loads of people on bikes and scooters and all that, and then
There's
so
also
you're not gonna
giant.
die.
There's also giant bike lanes and giant bike paths.
And
they'll
they're
have-
really obvious too.
Yes. So they'll have a spot where the bikes are and a spot where the cars are, and then you don't have hatred because good fences make for good neighbours.
Yeah.
Whereas in Australia, they just let the road lice get in the way of the higher evolved creatures who have internal combustion engines, and they get what they get.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what we can take away from the Japs then is portion control, higher consumption of seafood, low consumption of saturated fats, which is what the Americans really need to do, focus on grains and vegetables and seasonality, and limit sugar and processed foods, which is, yeah, that's true. The Japanese don't eat a lot of like garbage from packets.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm going to forget this anecdote, but my sister told me she's going out with a Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Oki's his name. And she said that he asked her, by the way, he's been in Australia for 20-something years, or 30 years or whatever, maybe more. He asked her what something was, and it was like a packet of food, but something that is just always on every supermarket shelf that we grew up with. And he had to ask her what it was because it never occurred to him to buy a crinkly bag of food.
Oh,
He just never did it. He's been here here in Australia for decades, but he's still Japanese. And so the food doesn't come in a crinkly bag. So what's that?
Yeah, it's even more obvious when you go to like their equivalent of 7-Eleven and there's lots of real food that you can buy, like an actual meal, which was so great. You can buy yummy egg sandwiches and like skewers, like food on a stick. They even have like hot food, like proper high protein options, which is great. And then they have lots of different kinds of milk in the fridge and water and stuff like that. But also then they have like fruit salads and they have loads of actual food. Whereas in Australia, the 7-Eleven really just consists of sausage rolls and then, things in packets. So like chips or chocolate and then some drinks with sugar.
I mean, eating at a Japanese train station is better than eating at an Australian school's tuck shop for kids.
You can get the bento boxes before you go on the, what's the train again?
Shinkansen.
You can get like a really yummy meal. Really good bento box just at the train station and eat that on the train.
And then when I'm on the train, I am that fat guy who's humiliated. Because I get the bento box. It wasn't a bento box. It was actually the family box of chicken. And I didn't realize. And so there's these just beautiful Japanese women, beautifully presented in their traditional dress, and they didn't buy their bento box at the train station. They've got brought their own thing.
Oh, they prepared it
and they've
themselves.
got everything's just immaculate and decorated, and it's just every detail is thought out. And they're looking at the fat Neanderthal who doesn't realize he's eating a family box of chicken. And they do this thing where they will laugh at you. They'll point at you and laugh at you and talk about you, but do it while covering their mouth.
Yeah.
Because then it's not rude. And I'm like, yes, thank you for the fat shaming. I need it.
The lady also laughed at you at the breakfast when you took all the eggs that time. And we were in
I get laughed at a lot.
Shinjuku, I think.
I just got yelled at by a guy in our street.
Oh, yeah. But for the Japs, they actually do point and laugh. So maybe America needs more of that. They need more of that guy who's like, yeah, we'll lose weight. They need more of like reality checks, I think. Because everyone has just been so wrapped in cotton wool and so accepting and forgiving. And then there's other cultures where in Japan it's like, you're like a fucking disgrace to your family if you're obese. they'll probably disown you. They're like, you don't get a what's those glory box things you get when you get married in Japan? You don't get that because you're fat. The end.
I don't know, but yeah, there's shame and stigma.
Gets married.
There's that classic Seinfeld scene where he's in the subway.
I've never watched Seinfeld.
And there's this fat guy sitting opposite him, like in a New York summer, covered in sweat with no shirt on. And the guy says to Jerry, "I'm not ashamed of my body." And Jerry says, "Well, that's the problem. You should be." And that's the sort of thing that would be on television in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And so, there's no kids watching this, but if you are in your early 20s, you can't imagine how reality existed and we could make jokes about it, like at the time that you were born or when you're in primary school. It's only very recently that we've gone full retard on you must deny reality.
It's the whole self-acceptance, body confidence movement. And I'm all for feeling confident, appreciating your body for everything it does for you, looking after your body, self-care. I'm all for all of those things, but not when you're like abandoning reality and you're going to like die of a heart attack next week.
Yeah, well,
it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it's again another nouveau thing where people will redefine what is obviously a vice as a virtue.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
So weird.
That's what all that fat pride thing was about.
I'm so brave.
Stunning and brave.
I'm so brave to go to, where did they go? Disneyland, and go to the restaurants and find the ones where the chairs don't have arms. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. It's like what they said on Your Mum's House. You need to go to the barn and eat.
Yeah, well, I remember Tony Robbins saying that one of the techniques that he taught people was when they wanted to lose weight, like that overeating is the reason you have weight to lose. So when you are about to do it again, the rule is you have to stand up, point at the chair you were sitting in as though you're pointing at yourself, and go, "Stop it, you fat pig."
Whoa.
And I don't know, is that cognitive behavioral therapy? Is that something else? Where you're interrupting a pattern with a new behavior and making it extremely shocking and emotionally charged, so that in the moment, you experience more pain, because that's a problem. It's just about which is more painful. Like, whilst you're continuing to chase obesity and eating more food, you're getting this dopamine pleasure, but the pain is felt later somewhere else when you're the guy on the plane who's summoning the stewardess, or whatever they're supposed to be called, with your excess. I didn't say it.
I remember that now.
Not like I'm going to forget. I was self-censoring.
Oh, well.
The pain of being that guy is later. It's not temporal with I'm going to get this dopamine hit of overeating. So the point is to just bring some of that pain, shame, embarrassment, and make it now, so that you can now compare. Now, do you still want to eat that extra cake or whatever if you're feeling the pain of the consequences at the same time? Because the problem is the action and the consequences of the action are so separate that people aren't thinking about the consequences whilst they're chasing that dopamine high.
Yeah.
And that's on top of if I was always fat, then I identify with it. I'm a person in a bigger body. Everybody else around me is fat. Blah, blah, blah,
So
blah. All of these problems. There's just layers of psychology that are going to be peeled back or pierced with a hatchet, which is kind of what these comedians are doing. It's just, no. There's layers of bullshit here. Let's just smash it and start again. It's probably what needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's my For You page, so it's showing me things that I like to see or whatever. Like, it would be very different for other people. But I appreciate that they're, making the noise and putting it out there. Because a lot of people can't do that for fear of hatred and, people are going to come throw eggs at you or something.
So that's what's on your For You page, is it?
Yeah.
Not your feed, your For You page.
Well, like when you go, I don't know, what's the difference when you go into Instagram?
If you hit the search
and
button.
You just go to, because it was on my normal Becky Lou Fit. And then you go down to the Reels button. And so it's just going to show me like random.
Well, that's your feed.
Okay. Well, I just go through that.
Because, yeah, I've been really confused about the Instagram algorithm.
So maybe it's not a For You page then. So.
No, that's your feed.
Okay, it's just what's in my feed. And that's what it's wanting to show me.
So this is the thing. I want to put it out there. And
it also shows me a lot of Pilates stuff.
Right. So, yeah, I want to put this out there, and then people can tell me if I'm crazy or if they've experienced the same thing. I've got my feed, which is what you would expect. It's the things that I follow and things that are like the things that I follow.
Yeah.
So when I open it up, first thing, make this go viral. Director of Government Affairs for Kentucky screaming, I demand jihad. I want ISIS to kill all of you. Radical Islam is here. The next thing will be, so there's politics. Then there's my beloved Thomas Sowell, economics. This one's about Nova Scotia's premier just banned going into the woods for any reason. Again, politics. So it's just all this sort of stuff, and then maybe Jim Fail Nation meme. But if I go to my For You page, I bet, without looking, it's going to be wall-to-wall porn.
But, oh yeah, that's what one of my accounts is.
Look at that!
Yeah.
So you could just go, like, there's the...
But what's the For You page again, babe? How
the magnifying glass.
Oh. Oh, mine is...
So this... I go back to my feed, and it's like, here's Inca, ancient civilization stuff. So I've got his World War II stuff. There's my feed, which is based upon my interests. And then there's what Instagram is saying, hey, look at porn, non-stop.
They
don't match.
Mine is all like weird skin conditions and beauty stuff, and then loads of Labubu's. That's my For You page.
Right. Does that at least somewhat match?
It makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I've just got like angry political stuff as my feed non-stop, which is why this is cancer for my brain.
Yeah.
But then when I go to the For You, it's like, wouldn't you rather look at tits and ass instead?
And you're like, yeah.
Actually, yeah, I'd probably be in a better mood.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway, am I alone? Is this a conspiracy? Because I think this is a conspiracy theory. They're trying to poison my brain with porn. They're trying to dumb me down. That's what's going on.
It's all trying to dumb
They don't want
down.
me knowing things about current affairs and politics and whatnot.
You mean so they're trying to take you away
Don't
from that?
look at that. Stop noticing things. Here's some tits. Okay. That seems to be what's going on.
Okay.
Yes, the two feeds are completely different.
Okay.
Anyway.
Great. So
do you have a moral? Is there a way to sum this up? This whole Americans are fatter than Australians, the Japanese aren't fat at all, the Indonesians and the Chinese are starting to get a little bit fat. What's the moral of the story? Is there a through line, a theme, a lesson?
Well, I think portion control.
Individual responsibility.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
actually the theme. In
Yeah, you're
spite of your circumstances.
Yeah.
You might be born Japanese and then everyone is helping you stay in shape, or you might be born in Kentucky or Louisiana and everyone is working against you. But at the end of the day, it's what you put in your cake hole that is going to make a difference and determine the outcome.
Yeah.
How's that for a summary?
That's a good summary.
Saved it. All right, then. On that note, we'll end it. If you're looking for coaching, no bullshit advice, programs and whatnot, hit the links below. See ya.
Bye.